Hello, Renee Flamont here. You guys, I come at this topic with extreme trepidation. I don't usually discuss this word desperation because no one likes to really put themselves in the category of being desperate. Who would? It sounds not good, right? However, we have all been at least in the vicinity of desperate if we allowed a narcissist in. Further into it, we've all known that person putting it right there on the line about being lonely and needing the boyfriend and wanting to find someone. And okay, all of this being it can and does exist, that people feel this way, and it certainly represents now a feeding ground for the likes of a narcissist to ensnare you. This is why we have to talk about this. Just the other day, I watched somebody get involved with another narcissist. It didn't happen just the other day, but I mean, I watched how it was clinched. She's in. She's in. And her having been desperate to find someone lent itself very well to her now being ensnared by yet another dysfunctional person. And by the way, I don't care if you call them a psychopath, a sociopath, a narcissist, a toxic person. If the person has any of the traits that are bad that we discuss on this channel, you wouldn't pick them if you weren't desperate. You would pass over them. Now, let's get into the word desperate, because I've picked many, and you might say, well, Renee, does that mean you were desperate? I don't mean I was desperate to find someone, but yeah, I do mean that. I was raised in a mentality that you have to be coupled up. So now I've learned in life I don't need to find someone. Now I've learned in life I'm actually quite happy being single. It's the happiest I've been. So I don't know how that's going to reconcile itself for the rest of my life. It'll be a very interesting person with whom I pair up should I decide to do that. But I can tell you something, when you emanate desperation without even realizing it, that's what we're here to discuss today, okay? You don't even need to be the person putting it on the line. I want a boyfriend. You know, you might say, well, I'm not desperate. I'm not putting that on the line. No, but here's the couple of ways that you can realize you're desperate to yourself, even if you don't think you're appearing it to somebody else. You can be over appreciative when someone offers you a compliment. Rather than just say, oh, thank you. You could swoon. Oh my God, I use he for romantic partners, so my story follows that. You'll have to insert your own pronoun to make the story your own. But for example, rather than just say thank you, you could swoon. Oh my God, he thinks I'm pretty. Maybe it's been 3 years, nobody's told you you're pretty. Maybe it's been 3 years, nobody's noticed you at all. Maybe this is the first cat that's ever come up to you in the grocery store. Maybe now you think that he thinks you're so special because it moved him to come up to you. He might just be throwing out liners all day, and you were the one that bit. You were the one that took the hook, took the bait, whatever it's called, right? You can be over-receptive to an invitation because of the compliment. Well, you're so pretty. I'd love to take you to dinner. Okay. I make that joke on purpose because that's a joking voice that me and my friend do. Oh my God, he thinks I'm cute. I'm going. But the reality is we do that. I've done it. Oh, he thinks I'm nice. He thinks I'm pretty. He told me he thought I was interesting. I'm going to go. I'm going to go to I'm going to go to dinner. When really, if you look at them twice or thrice, you realize they don't have a job. They live at home. They live with friends. They're bunking on someone's couch. He was rude to you when he first met you. He was juggling 3 girls. Think back to the first meeting. Think back to the circumstances that were surrounding you meeting them. Think back to, or think of their life and the state of it. Any red flags? We ignore them if we're desperate. I wanted to make this video because I see people going, like I did, from one narcissist to another narcissist to another narcissist, which is way more possible than you think, you guys. It's just hot, and we all want our hair up off our neck in Florida. They go from one to another because you don't get a handle on the fact that, okay, you told me I'm pretty, thank you. Now when if somebody, I don't really get approached. I don't know. Maybe I walk around like I have a chip. I don't know, but I don't get approached. But if anyone ever does tell me, oh, you're so cute, you're so pretty, I always thank my parents. Thank you so much, it's genetics. I'll tell my father, they tell me I'm his twin. But I'm not rolling into all kinds of being complimented and now I feel I need to go to dinner with the, thank you so much. I'll tell my father and mother, thank you. It's good genetics, thank you. So they're going to have to come at me with something else. That's not just going to work. Telling me I'm pretty, being nice to me, being nice is good, but I mean, you can also be less likely to ask, inquire, or question lest you rock the boat. Somebody comes on to you and you decide you're going to go, and then all of a sudden they start saying things that don't add up, right? We don't even need to list examples. We've all had a million of those. They start saying things that don't add up, and you don't want to question them or ask anything. Well, they were so nice to me. They told me I could order anything I wanted. They brought me to this fancy restaurant. Well, I'm not going to ask. It'll come out. I'll ask another time. 3 dates in, you still haven't asked why there were inconsistencies in something he said, which we don't even, again, need to say examples because there's endless. Narcissists are habitual liars, pathological. So you have your story of inconsistencies. I have my story of inconsistencies. Everyone has their stories of inconsistencies with narcissists because they lie about the most mundane things. It shouldn't even need a lie, and they'll tell a lie if it's going to make their story sound better or impress you. And we're not questioning because we're desperate. Again, please don't get hung up on the word desperate. It doesn't mean you're like desperate, Sally out there throwing yourself all over people. That's not what I mean. Desperation comes from within. You have a need, an extreme need to couple up with someone. I've known girls that's their focus. They hit the streets, not the streets, but you know what I mean? If you're not, you don't troll downtown anymore. You don't go out trying to meet people. You're not on the line. You're not. Now, I think online is a great way to meet people these days. You can go through a lot of people in no time, but you have to have your discernment hat on tight and really know what to look for and who might be playing you. And don't be just grabbing the first person that's nice to you. Do not. And our next video, this week we're talking about you all week. We usually talk so much about the narcissist, but I outlined 3 videos this week to talk about us and what we're going through. And the next one has to do with tolerance and how does our tolerance display our worth to ourselves. Your tolerance to put up with bad, your barometer or parameters to not even need that much good. Is that because we're so used to accepting less that now we've lowered the bar because we don't think we'll find anyone that's going to meet us up here where our bar was and should remain? Don't lower your bar because you think that this guy's going to go away and there's not going to be somebody else. Please keep yourself in mind. And if you have an air of desperation and you don't just sit back and say, whoa, what am I giving off? Am I overly appreciative at every compliment? Am I overly receptive to any invitation because they're being complimentary? That's love bombing if it's a narcissist, the compliments. If it's a narcissist, right? Now, if it's a nice guy, you might say, well, if it's a nice guy and he's complimenting me and I'm going to dinner and I'm not going on date 2 and 3 and 4, I might lose out on a nice guy. If he's a nice guy, you're not going to lose out on him if he's really interested because he's going to exhibit patience. He's going to exhibit understanding your boundaries. He's going to exhibit all the things a nice guy exhibits. Please keep an eye out for this. I don't want you to appear like an open person to receive a narcissist because they see you a mile away. Keep all this in mind. I'll see you next time.